Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh lordy. A straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch SmileyStorey on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel fear.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to SmileyStorey's world. Whether you've been here from the very beginning or today is your very first visit, I want to say thank you for being here. Come on in, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable. Because around here we believe in truth, respect, and a little bit of Smiley. This is more than a YouTube channel. This is family. Every day's another journey, another story yet to tell. Through the highs and through the heartache, we walk this road so well. We're chasing hope with open hearts, searching one step at a time. When we stand together, even the darkest days can shine. You're more than just a username, you're more than just a face. You're part of something special, a warm and welcoming place. Take my hand, don't lose hope, keep fears may fall, but kindness keeps us standing. Love carries us through it all. Different thoughts, different stories, different roads we've known, but respect builds understanding, and this place feels just like home. One smile can change a moment, one prayer can change a day, one caring heart can make a difference in the biggest kind of way. Lift each other, share some hope, love a little louder, help each other cope. Truth, respect, and a little bit of smiling. Let your light shine bright. Smiles all around, we'll find out together through the night. Truth, respect, and a little bit of smiling. Hope will lead the way. Together we are stronger every single day. Now I want to say something that's very important to every one of my moderators. Thank you. Thank you for helping make this community welcoming, for treating people with kindness, for watching over our little corner of YouTube. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. To every subscriber, thank you for every view, every thumbs up, every comment, every share, every prayer, every encouraging message. You have helped build something beautiful. To every supporter, to every friend, to everyone who's believed in SmileyStorey's world, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly couldn't do this without you. This isn't just my journey, it's our journey. Truth, respect, and a little bit of smiling. Come on, everybody, sing. Truth, respect, and a little bit of smiling. Smiles all around, we'll find out. One heart, one family. Truth, respect, and a little bit of smiling. Never giving up, always showing kindness, always choosing love. To the naysayers, smile around and find out. Because we don't hear you, we stand for truth, honest respect, and a little bit of smiling. That is what makes us smile over here.
Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Or good afternoon, depending on, I guess, where you're at. Hello, H. Davis. Good afternoon. Hello, Miss Susie and Miss Janice. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Yep, I need that right on up there, honey. Sure do. Sure do. Y'all be dancing to that one, don't you? How is your day going so far? Welcome in, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good this morning. I hope you're doing good and well. Hello, hello. Come on in. Tell me where you're from. If you're on replay, tell me you're on replay. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're going to talk about this case today. It is a whopper of a case, actually. It's a older case, and if anybody knows any information, it's pinned where you can call, plus it's up here, plus her flyer is up here, and we're speaking on Alissa Turney today. In this case, I say it's wild, so y'all stick around, because there was somebody that was put in jail for this and charged, and way back, and they can't be charged again. They were let out. They had an acquittal. That would be Michael Turney, and he cannot be tried again because of double jeopardy. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Hey, Rowie. Hello, hello, hello. That you did just start following this case. Yeah, there's a lot to it, isn't it? It's, I didn't come on yesterday. I just been kind of looking over it and getting all the things together. It's kind of hard to take in. It really is. There's a lot of stuff to it. So I don't know if anybody else has ever heard of this case or not, but we're gonna get into it. For those that don't know, there's actually a a documentary on Netflix about this, and it's called Family Secrets, I believe. I have not watched it yet, but I'm going to make time to watch it today, this afternoon sometime. And yeah, it's called Family Secrets on Netflix, the Alissa Turney story. So yeah, we're going to get into it. With that being said, before we get into it, I know a lot, if not all, kids are going back to school today. And I hope everyone has a safe, happy day. I know a lot of kids are glad to get back to school. A lot of parents are glad for them to get back to school. But I hope everything goes good for them children all year long. Leave them kids alone, honey. Let them get their education. So come on in, pull yourself up a seat. Today we're going to talk about the case of Alissa Turney, and we're going to speak. We're going to talk about it. We're going to try to get into it, but it's a heartbreaking case, I will tell you. There will probably be some trigger warnings. Take care of your heart. She was only 17 years old when she disappeared from her Phoenix, Arizona home, or from Phoenix, Arizona, May 17th, 2001. That means this year she would be, actually, it would be 25 years since she's been gone. Now think about that a minute. It's very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. She's been gone longer than she was alive when she went missing. Oh, your school don't start till the 25th? Oh, wow, Susie. Yeah, I was just talking about it with someone the other day. I'm like, school really starts early now. I remember we didn't have to go back to like September or something. I don't know. But I hope they have a good year. Let me start out with playing this video. I might play it more than once here, but so I can kind of give y'all a little content to this. And this is ABC, Arizona.
We turn now to the mysterious disappearance of a 17-year-old Arizona girl. More than 20 years ago, John Quiones has been following the story for 14 years. And on tonight's All New 2020, he brings us all the twists and turns in the vanishing of Alissa Turney.
The last time I set foot on this dusty desert road between Phoenix and Los Angeles was 2009. I was reporting on a vibrant teenage girl named Alissa Turney. She had disappeared in 2001. And to this day, some wonder if this unforgiving and lonely landscape might hold secrets of her fate.
17-year-old Alissa Marie Turney was
disappearance and presumed death of 17-year-old Alissa Turney.
Alissa Turney hasn't been seen in more than 7 years.
Just a bombshell arrest tonight, almost 20 years after Phoenix teen Alissa Turney vanished.
My report on her case went on to have a life of its own.
This is the story of Alissa Turney.
Alissa Turney.
Showing up in countless stories about Alissa on the internet, in podcasts, and recently, it was even at the center of a trial aimed at answering once and for all what really happened to Alissa.
And that 2-hour 2020 Since You've Been Gone airs tonight at 9 Eastern on ABC and tomorrow on Hulu.
So she was reportedly being, there's a lot of stuff out here, y'all, about her. I'm not saying I'm putting anything up in order because, honey, this is a lot. But she was reportedly being picked up from her school early by her stepfather. Now, from my understanding and my research, anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. Her mother passed away when she was about, I think, 9 years old, but she was very young. Her mother had cancer. So anyway, getting into this, she was reported to have been picked up from her school early by her stepfather. Her stepfather is Michael Turney. And let me say this, he was in fact arrested, and he was arrested for her alleged murder back in 2020, but he was later acquitted due to a lack of evidence. Now, ever since then and that time, he has maintained his innocence and all of that in Alissa's case. Her case has never been solved. Okay. It's never been solved. So that's just a little bit of information to the story, but I hope you will stay with me and we'll go through this. It is very interesting, and everybody, like I said, deserves to be found no matter what. Justice needs to come no matter what. In this case, will it? I don't know, because if, and I say if, even if there was a deathbed confession somewhere later on, and I understand he's still alive, they can't try him again. But was it him? I don't know. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to talk with truth, respect, and a little bit of smiley right here, and my opinions. That's what we're going to do. So what makes this case especially disturbing? It's how it developed, in my opinion. Number one, Alissa was treated as a runaway. That's number one. You know, we got to start treating runaways different, in my opinion. But she was treated as a runaway. They treated her like that because there was a note found saying she had gone to California. But, and I say but, she left behind all of her important things, all of them. You know, isn't it funny how all these runaways leave, but they don't take anything with them? No money, no credit card, no clothes, no nothing. If somebody close to her was involved, have you ever thought about, and I hadn't seen the note, but have you ever thought about they can make people write notes? I'm just saying. But runaways do need to be treated different. In my opinion, because a lot of these cases we wouldn't even be sitting here if they were. So she left behind all of her important things, her money, her belongings, and investigators, you know, started treating her disappearance as a possible homicide. Later on, well, you get a little bit day late and a dollar short, in my opinion, but that's just me. They said possible foul play started to click in. Started to click in. Really? You know, that should be your spidey sense, in my opinion, as a law enforcement. Anytime something don't add up, and don't just throw it away as a runaway, because these kids, even if they are runaways, they're not throwaways. I hope y'all caught that. Her stepfather, Michael Turney, became the #1 suspect. No. Let me rephrase that. Michael Turney, her stepfather, became the #1 primary suspect. And boom, he was charged. He was charged with second-degree murder in 2020. And it's important to understand, though, as we do this, Michael Turney was acquitted in 2023. Okay. So I ain't too worried about Mr. Michael coming after me. I'm spitting facts out here. Okay. But again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. After the prosecutors presented their case to the judge, he ruled that there was not enough substantial evidence in this case to support a conviction. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. Alissa's remains, they've never been found. She's never been found. Again, I encourage you, if you know anything about this case, there's the number up there, or you know anything about her whereabouts, it's time to come up and say that. It's time to come clean. This needs a resolve. Even if you feel there's not going to be justice, she has a sister out there that is definitely fighting for her. And as I understand, she has a podcast. We'll get to all that in a few minutes. Her disappearance still remains unsolved. All these cases that remain unsolved, they need to be solved. Nobody needs to be left behind. Again, she has a younger sister, I think just one. Her name is Sarah Turney. And Sarah has spent many, many years publicly advocating for her sister. She brought awareness. She helped bring attention to her sister. All of those things. Hold on just a second. So I think her podcast, now again, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't got a chance to go listen to it, but if it is, please drop the link, because this is this is Alissa's sister, Sarah. I think it's called Voices for Justice Podcast. Voices for Justice Podcast. So please drop that link and show Sarah some support. Go over there and learn about this case. And, you know, again, it's very interesting. I mean, she was a beautiful young girl, a beautiful lady, just 17 years old. And we're here 25 years later. As I said, she's still missing. No answers. Where is Alissa? Remember, once again, everybody, I can't stress it enough, is proven innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But they had a prime suspect, right? He went to jail, but he can't be tried again. Double jeopardy. So as we get started, please remember to hit that likes up button, share, subscribe. If you share it and get the story out, somebody may see it. All of that is free. We're just getting started. This young girl deserved to be talked about. She still deserves to be talked about. She still deserves to be remembered and spoke about. And she can't speak for herself. It was Voices. Let's see, the podcast. The podcast is it Voices? Maybe I said it wrong. Hold on a minute. Voices for Justice. Voices for Justice. Voices for Justice podcast. Voices for Justice. And that's her sister. Okay. Yeah, Voices for Justice. Thank you, Susie. So her full name is Alissa Marie Turney. So let's call her by her name, Alissa Marie Turney. Say her name. Don't let people forget her name. She was 17 years old when she went missing from Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona, May 17th, 2001. Think about that. Again, Just a split second, like I said. Hey, let them. Hello. Good to see you. Like I said, she's been gone longer than she was alive when she went missing. 25 years have passed. 25 more birthdays. 25 Christmases. She'd be what? 42? 42? My God. Why? Why? There's no rhyme or reason. There's no excuse. 25 years of questions. Not even the most important one has ever been answered. And that is, where is Alissa Turney? In this case, there's been allegations, a suspect, a prime suspect, mind you, a excuse. I don't know. I don't, no, not enough evidence. Okay. So if that's true, if they just walk free among us, things need to be changed. I mean, things need to be changed. And Lord, let me get that prime suspect correct, because I hope you know there is a difference. They say he was a prime suspect. Well, a suspect is a known person by LE who is suspected basically of committing a crime. Basically, it's an accused person, a person of interest, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But a prime suspect is in fact, the person that law enforcement believes is the most likely person to have committed the crime under their investigation, under what they have found. And most importantly, though, it's not just their thoughts and opinions. It's based on the evidence, the clear motive, all of their findings. So it's not just something they made up in their mind. Once someone becomes a prime suspect, police must be very careful to give them their rights. But a suspect can be broad, very broad. They can just be suspected of something, right? Maybe prime suspect, you might have your proof, your DNA, you may have eyewitnesses, all the things. But the judge, he didn't think it was enough, okay? Sometimes even those people get it wrong. I'm just saying. I'm not accusing anybody. That's just the facts of life. That's the way it is. Listen, first of all, people, a runaway, I'm going to say it again, is still somebody's child. We've been dealing with a lot of that here lately, especially in the Sebastian's case. But a runaway is still somebody's child. Oh, yeah, it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. You know, y'all know what happened in my life with the runaway and how it turned out. And that's why I'm so big on these runaway cases as well. And I just think they should be treated a lot different. I do. But you got to remember, in the end, at the end of the day, they still matter. I don't care if they run away or not. They need to be treated different. They're someone's child. Okay? And first of all, what the officers, in my opinion, need to do, they need to figure, what are they running from? Why did they run to begin with? But you know what? For a fact, Smiley knows. I'm telling you right now, for a fact, Alissa or any other child that may or might have run away, they deserve to be found. They're not a throwaway. Runaways are not throwaways. They're just as important to find, and there should be just as much urgency, in my opinion. Now, we cannot legally say that Michael Turney murdered her, but he was accused of it. He was arrested. He was prosecuted. He has since then, and I need to make that very clear, been acquitted. So hi, Michael, if you're watching. Where is this beautiful girl? Alissa's still missing, and this is what I want to bring to this story. I want to bring it right back to the person that matters, which is her. You know, the criminal case ended against Michael, but Alissa is still gone. And her disappearance did not all of a sudden just get solved. No, that didn't happen. She didn't get found. Her case didn't get solved. Sure didn't. There was no answers. She's never been found either way. Never recovered. You know, nothing ever confirmed. No explanation of what happened to her. And her official missing persons case remains active to this day. It's active. It's still active. But in 2026, this year, there was a development, some kind of development everyone needs to know and hear, because it's not just a cold case. They were talking about Sarah Turney. Her sister is still searching. This was this year, June 2026. Sarah released an episode on her Voices for Justice podcast, and she talked about the recent physical search. She's out there. She still wants answers. She's still trying to find what happened to her sister. And according to Sarah, which I've got to go back and watch, but according to Sarah from my research, a search team went to a particular location with trained dogs. Allegedly, she said the dogs, again, I hadn't watched it, but allegedly she said the dogs alerted on a special location, and that was cause for concern. She also said, allegedly, that LE declined to follow up there. And the reason I say allegedly, because I have not heard it for myself. You can hear that on her podcast, which I've got to do this afternoon, because I'm just interested, even if I never bring this case back up again. And I am going to watch that Netflix series. Sure am. So why is it that LE did not follow up? You're supposed to be following up on every tip given. You should be. It doesn't matter. And even if they think that he's the prime suspect, even if they think that he would never be tried again because of double jeopardy, she still needs to be found. She deserves that. And if dogs hit, it's your duty to go out there and try to see what's going on and why they hit. Just my opinion. Why would they not at least follow up? Granted, I don't know. But that does not mean something that belonged to Alissa was found. No, it don't. But it does mean a dog alerted. What, to me, you know, okay, to be fair, 100%, it does not mean Alicia's there. It does not mean that that case could have been solved. But I'm more curious as to find out why 25 years later, the dogs are hitting there about Alissa on there. You see what I'm saying? It might be important. It might not. But why haven't they gone to look? I don't know. That's the 25-year $1,000,000 question. Later, after that fact, people are still physically looking, and I'd be concerned, in my opinion, you know, just saying why a dog hit there 25 years later, but that is not my expertise. Dogs are not my expertise. I just love dogs. I love animals. But that part of the investigation is not my expertise, so I couldn't tell you. I don't pretend to know everything. But I am going to bring awareness to her name. I don't care if it's colder than the iceberg. I don't care. For those coming in, let's watch this. Oh, maybe this one's not a watch. I'm not sure. Hold on just a minute. Let me get back to it. Hold on a minute. This is Michael Turney. Okay, let me get that off there. Hold on a minute. This is a picture of Michael. There might be a video down here. Full credit goes to ABC News. This was back December 20th, 2020, nearly, and I guess they updated it. I don't know, but anyway. Oh, so let's see. That might play. We'll go back to that in a minute. Nearly 2 decades after 17-year-old Alissa Turney disappeared, Phoenix police have arrested the man they believed responsible for her death. Her stepfather, Michael Turney, was arrested Thursday afternoon in Mesa, Arizona. He faces second-degree murder charges. I'm shaking. I'm crying. We did it, said her sister, Sarah Turney. This is the one I was talking about. Alicia's sister posted on social media, he's been arrested. Never give up hope that you can get justice. It took almost 20 years, but we did it. Michael Turney, 72, made his first court appearance Friday, where a judge denied him a reduction in bond. He's due back in court next Friday. Alissa Turney disappeared May 2001, the last day of her junior year at Paradise Valley High School, Phoenix. My God. She had a beautiful life ahead of her. Look at them eyes, in my opinion. And he looks mad. He looks angry. You're angry because you was caught. Well, you got a little bit of time behind them bars. Let me just keep going. I'll be nice. Lord, let me do one stream. Jesus, take the wheel and let me be nice. Oh, God. Police believe something was wrong because she left behind her cell phone, her hairbrush, her makeup. What girl? I think I'm the only girl that can go on a trip and freaking forget a hairbrush. But still, she was a 17-year-old girl. What girl leaves behind and runs away at that and leaves her makeup, forget the hairbrush, leaves her makeup, her phone. She left $1,800 in her bank account. Authorities also found surveillance equipment inside her house. What? Which her stepfather, he admitted to setting it up. For what? He claimed it to be safety reasons and not to spy on his children. They also found all inbound and outbound calls were passively recorded. Okay. So they have a lot of evidence. We hadn't even got there yet. Hadn't even got started. They had a lot of things. He was the prime suspect. An interview with police, one friend said that Alissa told him her stepfather had tried essaying her when she was younger. My God. He denied that allegation. He denied that he harmed Alissa in any way. He said he had nothing to do with her disappearance. Look at her, how beautiful she is. She was. Just a young girl trying to live her life. Her mom, what I understand, died of cancer. From what I could be wrong, from my understanding, I believe her mom died when she was about 9 years old. Very sad. Anyway, really sad. But this stepfather hung around. I guess he raised these two girls. Listen, I don't know. You got your good men. You got your men that... let's keep going. In 2009, Michael Turney told ABC News he returned home the day she disappeared. He discovered she had left a note and said immediately he began looking for her. The stepfather also said he got a call from her a week later. Really interesting. I wonder if the police back then, and I don't know, I haven't got to research it. I wonder if they got those records. He said that was the last known contact. Sarah also spoke, this is the sister, also spoke to ABC News in 2009. Y'all, there's a lot, ABC News covered this a lot. So there's a lot of information on ABC News. So the sister, Sarah, spoke to ABC News in 2009 at the time, standing by her father's innocence. But in recent years, she's worked and she had to raise awareness about what she's concluded to be her father's guilt. Posting on social media, Justice for Alissa, and working on her podcast. Yeah, there it is. Voices for Justice. There it is. Y'all make sure you drop that link, please. Voices for Justice. During the press conference, officials credited her sister Sarah for perseverance in this case. I hate to push on these because I don't think this is, it might be, I don't know. You get all these, that's not what I wanted to show y'all. So anyway, I'm going to go out of that. We got plenty more. But anyway, yep, thank you, Janice, for that. It's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame these monsters are out there. And they are, and they're right there in your face, in my opinion. They're right in your face. Yes, absolutely. 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 Yes, and grooming, in my opinion, is what I feel like. That's what I think. But, hey, I don't know nothing. It is what it is. Whatever. Alicia would be 42. She disappeared at age 17. That's a fact. She actually had been missing longer than she's been alive. That's just crazy to me. Somewhere there's answers. I think that one possibly holds the key. Somebody knows, I say just answer, coward. Whoever you are, you're a coward. You're a coward. Especially if, and this is listen, Smiley don't know. I'm not accusing anybody, but you're a real low blow coward. The scum of the earth, the way bottom of the totem pole, especially if you have you can't get tried again if you're responsible. And no matter what, no matter if you speak, or you're on your deathbed, because of double jeopardy, and you're just a bottomless shell of a person, if you did this, that you just can't say what happened and allow her sister some peace. I'm just saying. And allow Alicia some grace, in my opinion. Just a coward. Just another one out there. Just another one. Put him on an island somewhere. He's an ex-detective. This Michael Turney is an ex-detective? Or are y'all talking among yourself? I'm just wondering. He don't look like he's much as crap. So she left school on May 17th, 2001. So if anybody remembers anything, sees anything, that number's up there, call it in. Oh my God, Sharon said yes, he is. Oh Lord, he's an ex-detective. Oh Lordy be. See, that's why I don't trust nobody. I don't trust them. I don't care what kind of skill set you have. I don't care what kind of book smart you have. I don't care who you are. People can go to church every Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday night, every time the doors are open, and they're still scum, in my opinion. They can be a preacher, a judge, a doctor. I have seen stuff with my own eyes. I have heard it. It's been in the news. These people are scum. It's a fact. It's a fact. Somebody knows. So she left school early, May 17th, 2001, and someone may remember something. If you do, call it in, please. They may remember now. They may have thought back. Something wasn't important at the time, or they didn't think it was. They could have been just too scared to tell it. Forgot about it, blocked it out. Somebody could have saw something and been traumatized and blocked it out. That happens too in real life. Some people don't live in the real world, but I'm telling you that happens. So after 25 years, if you have a shred of information about that day or anything, or have heard anything after that, or anybody told you anything, please come forward. Don't hold it in. And here's what bothers me. Here's what bothers me about this case. Just like right in front of all of us. Here's a perfect example on Sebastian's case. In my opinion, Sebastian's case has been labeled as a runaway, which I'll call bullshit on that till the day I die. And I've told y'all, I don't care if they produce him and he tells it himself. Brainwash. I will never believe that. And you're not going to make me. You're not going to make me. You can't make me. I don't care who you are. Don't care. Bullshit. But when a teen is labeled a runaway, I don't care who they are. I don't care what part of town they live in. I don't care what city or state. I don't care what color. I don't care what disability. I don't care anyway. How you do it, slice it, dice it. In an investigation, you need to follow up. I mean, you need to investigate. Again, they might have run away for real, but they're not throwaways, okay? And what are they running from? This label follows them. You know what I mean? But a teenager who runs away still deserves to be found. And again, if a child is missing, they are somebody's child, okay? And if you don't find them, something is going to end up happening to them, regardless. Regardless, if they have to hustle, if they have to live, if they have to make it on the street, there's a reason you are a minor and that you're not allowed to do certain things. So police, law enforcement all across the United States need to put a little bit more effort into runaways, in my opinion. Sometimes that child was not a runaway at all. And that label follows them. Every missing child deserves to be taken serious. Every missing child's case deserves to be taken serious. And from the very beginning, not at the end, not in the middle, but in the very first few minutes, no matter what the last person that was with them said, put on your thinking caps. If they did do something, if they did, not saying everyone does, if they're the last person, but they ain't sure going to tell you, are they? Every missing child deserves to be taken serious from the very start. Those first few minutes, those first few hours, they're crucial. We can't get those first few hours back. We can't get those first few minutes back. We are certainly not going to get this 25 years back for Alissa. I won't get it back. You won't get it back. These people spreading awareness is not going to get it back. FBI is not going to get it back. You know, LE's not going to get it back. Phoenix is not going to get it back. It's gone. The time's gone. You can't hold time. I don't care what you do, what the circumstances. It could be in your regular life. It could be just walking up to the store and come back. You're not going to get that time back. We can't go back to May 17th, 2001. Now, what they can do is they can look at it. They can reenact it. They can get new eyes on it. There can be sleuths. There can be people to investigate. There can be people to talk about it, bring awareness, whatever you want to call it. But you can't get that time back. It's crucial something is changed. Something's changed, whether it be a runaway or not, that you start taking these missing kids cases seriously and doing your due diligence. If you can't do that, then you don't need to be in the profession, in my opinion. It should not be, it should be protect and serve. There's things you need to do, and it should not just be for a paycheck. There's other jobs out there. Go to McDonald's. Okay. We're talking about people's lives. What we can do, we can still say her name, Alissa Marie Turney. We can bring awareness. Don't look at this story as another missing cold case. No, don't do that. Look at it as a 17-year-old girl who needs to be found. She is one who had her entire life in front of her, and people are still looking for her. Her sister loves her dearly. She wants her found. She wants answers. Here, I know we're praying for her. Every one of these that I come across, and I do, I can't do all of them, but I do pray for them. I want awareness for all of them. She should have got to decide what came next in her life, not anybody else. She should have grew up. She was about to graduate. She got, from 17 to 42 and beyond. She should have got to had her say so. Instead, people who love her have spent 25 years asking the same question over and over. Where is Alissa? Her sister, Sarah, she spent about all of her adult life, at least most of it, trying to answer that question for herself and for her sister. And I don't care if you're a creator with 100,000 subs, 100,000, 1 million. I don't care. 5, 40, 15. I don't care if you have people sitting at your house and you're not even online. If you have 5 friends sitting there playing cards or watching TV, a movie, maybe you're on Facebook, you can make a difference. Not just with her, but with everybody that's still unsolved and out there somewhere. God only knows where. You can do something, and it's very simple. You can speak their name. You can talk about them. You can share their face on every platform. Because somebody might see it. Somebody might remember. Somebody might be lurking somewhere. And they'll remember something from even back then. You never know who's watching. Maybe somebody has kept this information for 25 long years, and they're ready to get rid of the baggage. Let me do this. Hold on. Well, first I'll play this again. I think we already played this one, but before I go into the other, I'll play this again for those coming in that don't know or have a context. Oh, this might be the same one. I may not get nowhere
yet in the pandemic. New fears that the worst is still to come.
Hard back. Too many of America's
Yeah, I'm
children.
not going to get nowhere with this one. Hold on a minute. That's not the one I want. But this might be. Hold on.
Jalapenos from the shelves.
No, I can't stand it when these do. I'm sorry. I can't deal with it when those do that. Hold on. I know there's one up here. Hold on. Let's just go here. Okay. So her stepdad picked her up from school in 2001, and she was never seen again. Then he was acquitted of her murder. There she is with her little cat right there. And this is full credit to People. She disappeared. They always put your little note, the bullet points. Alissa Turney disappeared in 2001 at age 17 after reportedly being picked up early from school by her stepfather, which would be him. Okay. And that's Michael Turney. Her stepfather, Michael Turney, was arrested for her alleged murder in 2020, but was later acquitted due to lack of evidence. He has maintained his innocence in Alissa's case and has never been solved. It's been 25 years. 25 years. This happened in Phoenix, Arizona. Her family and friends started to believe something more sinister when she left. Basically, they said she had, for those coming in, left a note, said she was running away, or I don't know if it said run away. I don't know exactly what the note said, but said she was leaving, going to California. So the note claimed, allegedly. But she left her cell phone, her car. She had a car. I'm just now realizing that. So she left her cell phone, car, and nearly $1,800 she had in the bank. Yeah, something don't add up. Over time, family and friends started to believe something more sinister happened to Alissa and alleged that someone close to her was to blame. In 2008, the investigation into the disappearance was reopened. So it had already closed once and reopened. And her stepfather, Michael Turney, emerged as the prime suspect. Prime suspect. I didn't just make that up. He was the prime suspect. After that, it still would take 12 more years and a campaign led by Alissa's younger sister, Sarah Turney, to bring charges against Michael in 2020. Michael then was arrested in connection with Alissa's disappearance, but he walked free after a judge acquitted him of all charges due to insignificant evidence. Look at her. Just look. Who is Alissa? Alissa was born April 3rd, 1984 in Phoenix to Barbara Farner Starholm, I may be saying that wrong, and Stephen. According to 2020, Alissa's parents divorced when she was 3 years old. Her mother remarried this Michael Turney guy, an electrician and father of three, right? So the couple welcomed their daughter, Sarah, So I guess that is Sarah's real father, okay? And they become this large blended family. Michael adopted Alissa and her older brother, John. Sadly, Barbara died of lung cancer when she was 9. So she was 9, and Sarah was 4, leaving Michael to raise the 2 girls by himself. The older 4 children were grown already, and they were living out of the home. They were living out on their own. And as Alissa became a teenager, she would often complain to friends that Michael was strict, overprotective, and with him installing surveillance camera, obviously that made her feel uncomfortable, but he installed surveillance camera throughout their Phoenix home, which, you know, she was a teenage girl. Of course she didn't understand that, and of course that would have been a little suspect to me, especially if her claims were true. Anyway, moving on. That didn't stop her from having a steady boyfriend. She had a boyfriend. She had a part-time job at Jack in the Box. She had dreams of moving to California. Still, in my opinion, y'all, that don't mean that somebody couldn't have had forced her to write that letter to make it look like that's where she was going. But that's just my opinion. But she knew he was watching her. Alissa's boyfriend, John, later told police in footage that they had on 2020 that was shared what happened. Look at her. Oh, my God. She was beautiful. She disappeared on May 17, 2001, the last day of her junior year at Paradise Valley High School in Phoenix. She was 17 years old at the time. The last person to see her before she vanished was her stepfather, Michael. According to the police records, Alissa stopped by her boyfriend's John's workshop at school that day, and that was around 11. She stopped by there that day to tell him she was leaving school early and that Michael was picking her up. Michael later told authorities that he'd taken Alissa out for lunch that afternoon, and the two had an argument before he dropped her off around 1. So he just gets his daughter, and I don't know. I'm just catching that just now. So did he get her out of school just to take her to lunch? Kind of weird, if you ask me, in my opinion, if that's what happened. I don't know if there was any appointments and stuff, but that's what it's saying right here. Hours later, Michael contacted Phoenix police and told them that Alissa had run away. She'd run away. What was she running from? But did not take her clothes, her cell phone, her makeup, her jewelry, or her car. You wouldn't let her drive her car to school. I don't know those circumstances, but she sure didn't drive her car to school. But you picked her up early to take her for lunch. Wow. And then all of a sudden, poof, she's gone. You didn't take Sarah to lunch? It's just very interesting to me. So she left a note in her bedroom, allegedly, that stated she was headed to California where her aunt lived. He said, I wasn't worried, or she said, I wasn't worried, said Alicia's younger sister, Sarah. That's what she told people in 2020. I was under the impression she was going to be back. I mean, can you imagine? That was her younger sister. She looked up to her, and she always thought her sister was coming back. She said, I don't think her being gone forever was anything that ever crossed my mind. Despite Michael's claims that Alissa ran away, police opened a missing persons investigation. They allegedly did not interview Michael or search Alissa's room, even after her aunt revealed she never showed up in California. See, people, this is the problem. This is the problem, in my opinion. Do better. In the meantime, Michael doubled down. He doubled down on the idea that Alissa was on the West Coast, telling authorities on May 24th that the missing girl had called him from a payphone in Riverside, California. And back then, some of y'all may not even know what payphones is, but did she get the money off of somebody off the street? How did she call him from a payphone? She left $1,800 at home. And how did she get there, in my opinion? I'm just asking. Just asking. You know, somebody that's used to a car, had a car, normally don't just take off and run away. The fastest way for them to get there is in their car. Go figure. Nobody looked for her, Sarah said in a TikTok video. Not anybody in my family. The police didn't do anything despite her being reported missing. Nothing really happened until 2006. At that time, serial killer Thomas Hamer, who was serving a life sentence in a Florida prison, confessed to murdering her. That's according to ABC. When Phoenix police flew to Florida to question him, they realized his confession was false. And I will tell y'all, that's what they do all the time. These serial killers, they like to try to say they did more than they do. It's like a trophy to them. They love it. I'm just saying. This is her and her stepfather right here, back in them days. But after the false confessions, the detective said in 2008, they started conducting more than 200 interviews. You know, why did it take that long, in my opinion? There are some, you can go to BuzzFeed. And in these interviews, many of her closest friends alleged that Michael had been verbally and sexually abusive to his stepdaughter. Let me highlight that for you. He always made me feel uncomfortable from the moment I met him. That's what Charity Bedford said, Alicia's longtime friend. That's what she told people in 2020. Michael made her feel uncomfortable. My God, can you imagine all this time what Sarah, that's Sarah's real father from my understanding. Can you imagine what she's thinking and going through? When he was asked if he ever sexually abused Alissa, Michael said, I never did, and I would never do anything like that. Never would. Well, would you expect him to say anything any different? They attempted to search her room in 2008, but Michael wouldn't let him into the home. But again, why didn't they do all that years earlier? Years earlier. Since then, Michael refused to cooperate. He refused to cooperate. Yeah, he thought they were closing in. He thought they were stepping all over his neck. He couldn't breathe. You know, by December 2008, the police believed Michael was responsible for Alicia's disappearance. They executed a search warrant on his home. Well, a little bit late for the search warrants, just in my opinion, which turned up an alarming discovery. But God only knows what it would have turned up if you would have been there earlier and did your due diligence. You know, it had, whatever was in there had nothing to do with Alissa. You know, you're a day late and $1 short, years late. Police found dozens of homemade bombs, firearms, and silencers, though. And there was a 98-page manifesto detailing Michael's plot to commit. Are you serious right now? I'm just now seeing this like y'all are. To commit mass murder at the local headquarters of the Electrical Workers Union, according to the outlet. Listen, now I'm coming back to y'all. Hey, everyone coming in. Sorry, I couldn't read the chat. Oh, my God. So if I believe nothing else, I believe he is definitely evil. He had that manifesto. Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, from Phoenix. And this is Sarah's real dad. And Alicia's, he adopted Alissa. And the mother died when Alissa was 9. It just said that. There is a Netflix video out, a documentary out, not a video, a documentary. And her sister has a podcast. So this is very interesting. It's upsetting. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And for those coming in, again, I'm going to say it again. They think that the stepfather, Michael Turney, did it. But here's the thing. He was the prime suspect. Okay. But he was arrested and all that stuff. But he was acquitted because the judge said there was not enough evidence. And here's the thing. Because of double jeopardy following his 2023 acquittal, he cannot be tried again for second-degree murder. He cannot be tried again. And so her whereabouts remains unknown. You know, that's just unfortunate. Miss Sharon told me about it, and I did some double dipping into it. And because they labeled her as a runaway, and I don't know if many of y'all know this or not, but I had a cousin run away years and years and years ago. And yeah, she was unalived, wrong place, wrong time. And long story short, I feel that they, you know, I'll pretty much do any runaway story, but I feel that every police around the United States need to start handling these cases that anybody says, oh, it's just runaway. These runaway kids are not throwaway kids. That's going to be my new motto. Okay. And time is of essence. Things could be done different. They tried that shit in Sebastian Rogers' case. And it needs to stop. Yeah, that's what they tried. So, yeah. But it's a lot. It's a lot. So, you know, and maybe somebody carried this for 25 years. I don't know. Maybe they want to drop their baggage down on the ground and give Sarah, her sister, some clarity to this. You know, I'm just saying. How does it not sound strange to the police when they go over this stuff? You know, I don't understand why laws and stuff have not already been changed on this and how they treat cases like this. I just don't. I'm not going to be able to see y'all for just a minute. Hold on. So, he had his 98-page manifesto, And in April 2010, he pleaded guilty to possession of unregistered destructive devices, and he spent the next 7 years in federal prison. So that's, I guess, what he was charged with. This is him right here. Somebody was telling me he was also an ex-detective. With him behind bars on those charges, detective encouraged Sarah to go public about her sister's case in hopes that it might produce new leads. Sarah is the sister and his biological daughter, who, along with her siblings, believes Michael is responsible for Alicia's presumed murder. And so she did just that. She has many social media pages, and she has dedicated most of her entire adult life to trying to find her sister and what happened to her. And my mods can put it down, but she does have a podcast, and it's called Voices of Justice. She evidently is on TikTok, and it's been viewed by tens of millions of people who helped her renew her interest in this cold case of her sister. It says in her audio show, she presented evidence against her father, which, wow, that's all I can say, including audio from home footage of Alissa calling Michael a pervert. So Alissa said he tried to sexually assault her. And so her sister, the biological daughter, and her sister says that she has a video and has footage of Alissa calling Michael a pervert in 97. And there's secret recorded audio from 2017 with a conversation with her father where he said he would provide all the honest answers you want to hear on his deathbed. Y'all see that? He would provide all the honest answers. Well, mister, you might not be that fortunate to get time on a deathbed. I'm just saying. There may be other plans for you. And then what are you going to do? You going to answer to somebody. Just saying. And y'all drop People's, who I'm reading from right here. This is from People's Magazine. So they had all these recordings and stuff. And then these recordings helped make the case for Michael's arrest on August 20th, 2020. He was arrested and charged with a single count of second-degree felony murder in Mesa, Arizona for the death of Alissa. But Sarah says, I'm shaking and I'm crying about the news. We did it, you guys. He's been arrested. Oh my God, thank you. Justice for Alissa. Never give up hope that you can get justice. And it took almost 20 years. And, it just goes on and on and on. But what happened was his trial of the murder, that he was presumed of the murder of Alissa, began in July 2023, almost 3 years after his arrest. And after 6 days of testimony from witnesses, including Phoenix police detectives, and Alicia's boyfriend at the time, John, that we talked about earlier, and her sister, Sarah, the defense submitted a motion for a judgment of acquittal under Arizona statute. And it read, the court must enter a judgment of acquittal. There is no substantial evidence to support a conviction. That's on NBC News. That's what they reported. The defense argued that the prosecution did not present any physical evidence that Alissa, first of all, was dead, or that Michael caused her presumed death. There has not been a shred, they said, of physical evidence in this case. No body, no crime scene, no evidence that suggests that a murder took place. And that's what the defense attorney, Olivia Hicks, said in court. So the judge agreed with the defense, and he dismissed she dismissed all of the charges against Michael. Michael was released from custody July 18th, 2023. That's not what anybody wanted, said the other prosecuting attorney. They said, we are grateful they got to take it to trial. And then Sarah had a statement on her podcast. Let's see if I can get this up. I know I can. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I don't know if y'all are able to see that. Let's see. Hold on, Alissa Turney. Hold on just a minute. I don't know if y'all be able to hear this. I'm going to try. If you're not able to hear it, just bear with me a second. Hold on a minute. And this was evidently July 19th, 2023. Are y'all able to hear that? All right, I got my phone now. Are y'all able to hear that? All right, what about now? Can you hear it? All right, hold on a minute. Hold on. All right, so hold on a minute. All right, hold on. Hold on, people. I got you. Hold on, Janice. What about now? Hold on a minute.
Well, Alyssa's trial is over. If you haven't heard the news, our father was acquitted and is now a free man.
All right.
Now that I'm able to speak more freely, I do plan to finish Alyssa's season and tell you how we got to this point, because there is still so much to say. But that'll take some time to put together. In the meantime, I and my brothers James and Mike wanted to release a short statement. You will hear from me, then from my brother James. Our brother Mike has reviewed these statements and asked that we speak on his behalf. First, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me and Alissa throughout the years. The support you've shown us was something I never expected, but needed so much more than I ever realized. I believe that most of these cases that we discuss and share that have some type of conclusion get there through a massive group effort, and Alyssa's case is no exception. As many of you know, the unfortunate reality of Alyssa's case was that law enforcement was never going to search for her remains, despite my family's efforts to pursue that avenue. Then I discovered the county attorney wanted to try the case. As our father is now in his 70s, it was clear that we were running out of time. And without any search for Alyssa's remains, and no new evidence emerging, the county attorney's office made the decision to partner with the Phoenix Police Department to take Alyssa's case to a grand jury for indictment, and they succeeded. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it past the finish line. While, of course, this is not the result any of us wanted, we are grateful for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for taking Alyssa's case to trial. I would like to take a moment to thank Detective Summershoe and Detective Anderson from the Phoenix Police Department for their tireless work on Alyssa's case. I would like to extend another thank you to Detective Anderson for his passion and true empathy for Alissa. He worked for Alissa like she was his own daughter and showed me kindness throughout this entire process. Thank you for never giving up on us, Detective Anderson, and for being so kind when I couldn't see what was right in front of me all along. I would also like to thank the nonprofit organization Defenders of Children, and specifically my victims' rights attorney, David Newstone. He meticulously guided me through this trial process. He was there for me every step of the way, from where to park, never letting me attend court alone, analyzing countless motions, standing up for me when my rights were violated, and so much more. David, you were my hero throughout this all. He and defenders of children are the unsung heroes I and so many other victims need. I will forever be in their debt. As a small gesture of my gratitude, all ad revenue from this episode will be donated to defenders of children, along with all profits from my merch and Patreon for the rest of the year. I owe another thank you to the true crime community, creators and consumers alike. You became Alissa's.
So for those just listening or coming in, this is her sister, Alissa. This is her sister, I apologize. Talking about her sister, Alissa, that is still missing. And this is Sarah. This is her sister, Sarah Turney. And Sarah released an emotional statement after her father, Michael Turney, was acquitted back on July 17th, 2023. For those just coming in or those that are just going to watch, that judge, although he was a prime suspect, he was arrested, he was all those things, and now there can't be double jeopardy. The judge granted a Rule 20 motion after the prosecution rested, finding there was not substantial evidence to send this, to a second-degree murder charge to a jury. So she's releasing a statement now, and that's what we're listening to. And this is her podcast. Y'all make sure you go sub up to her podcast. This is her sister. She has spent her entire adult life trying to find answers. Very, very gut-wrenching.
Army and surrounded us both with love. I will never forget that. Thank you for going on this journey with me and never letting me or Alissa walk alone. For my families out there still fighting for justice, please don't give up. One of my first thoughts when our father was acquitted was you. All of you out there fighting this same fight. Please don't let this discourage you from continuing your fight. There is always hope. Finally, to Alissa, I love you and I'm sorry. You moved mountains to protect me from the reality of our lives so I could have the best childhood possible. That is something I can never repay you for. I just hope you know that I tried and that you deserved so much better. You were never a bad kid. Despite everything you went through, you had a heart of gold that shone through it all. You were the best sister and mother I could have ever asked for. Here is our brother James.
First, I would like to start off with a request to the media and public. Please do not read into any of our other siblings' lack of a statement as any kind of sign that they did not love and care for our sister Alissa. I do not share my sister Sarah's eloquence in speech, so before I elaborate, I would ask in advance for your patience, and if I sound unclear, please review her discussions on ethics in the media for a more thorough and coherent breakdown of what I am going to attempt to say. There is no one on this earth who can understand how a victim or their family feels, or why they behave in a certain way. If you have not been raised in the exact same environment, or received the same education at home and outside of it, or shared the same experiences and trauma, you can never truly grasp what they are thinking or why they are behaving as they do. You can, however, be kind. Understand that silence does not imply someone does not care, and instead take all of your available energy and love to support those who have the ability and fortitude to stand and shout out for those who cannot. Like my sister Sarah, my brother and I want to extend our thanks to all of you who have contributed in the process of trying to find justice for our sister Alissa. This would not have happened without your dedication and support. For myself, I would like to thank all of those who helped, counseled, and supported me emotionally through the years. I am sorry for the burden I placed on you, but eternally grateful that you willingly shared it with me. Special thanks go out to my sister Sarah, whose determination and media genius got this case the attention it deserved and got it to trial. To my brother Michael for being able to understand with only a few spoken words what would have taken me an hour to explain to someone else. To my husband for trying to understand why I could never let this go. To my daughter for her smile, which was my place of comfort when things felt too much. and to my mother-in-law, who spent countless hours on walks, on the phone, and other random places where she created a safe space for me where I could carefully take out and confront the nightmares this traumatic event has caused for me. We would like to specifically thank Detective Summershoe and Detective Anderson for doing an amazing job in an extremely difficult situation. When you consider that they had to start years after the time of our sister's disappearance and well after the time the initial investigation should have begun, it is astonishing what they accomplished. We truly believe they did all they could have done and that they truly cared about our sister, Alissa. Unfortunately, that is where our praise for the system ends. The system in place to provide justice for victims of child and domestic abuse has failed again. This is a systematic issue throughout the country, but this case is a perfect demonstration of this failure. The amount of evidence not provided to the jury was staggering. Most of it was judged by the court as being too prejudicial, even when it clearly revealed motive. The defense, meanwhile, was allowed to present, distort, and embellish their prejudicial statements about Alissa seemingly at will, as long as it was in the context of painting our sister as a belligerent, incorrigible, and sexually acting out teenager. We watched on hopelessly as very few objections or redirects were voiced when context could have been given to help explain the observations of the witnesses, instead of them being used as weapons to further victimize our sister's character and traumatize her living loved ones. Are pleased to be put back on the stand to provide this context and for expert witnesses, such as forensic psychologists, who could have explained the pathological level of control which was asserted over Alissa and how those under its traumatic oppression demonstrate the very behaviors for which she was blamed, were met with dismissive statements such as, "We just can't do that," or "It will all come out in closing statements." Can't do that because it would prejudice the jury against him? They were the truth, and a provable truth. The jury needed the full truth, not an edited and biased version of it rationalizing as being fair. It wasn't fair to Alissa. Well, as you now know, there were no closing statements. The idea that the outcome of this case would not lead to justice was not a surprise to us. We were prepared before the trial started, and the belief that justice could not be obtained only grew in its intensity, given everything that happened during this trial. The fact that the judge did not allow it to go to the jury, though, was a shock. My only hope is that he will be plagued for the rest of his life by the nightmares I have to this day, in which my sister Alissa is pleading over and over for help, and then, as I try to reach out and grab her, she disappears into the blackness of nothing. On reflection, I now wonder if that nothing is the system that should have protected her, or at least provided her justice. The fight for justice for our sister Alissa and those in similar traumatic situations is not over. Please continue to support the individuals and organizations that fight for those who have been forgotten, abandoned, and rendered legally voiceless by the system. Finally, Michael and I wanted to thank
I want to say he's correct. Those are the people and those are the organizations that we should be supporting, right? He's right about that. You know, this is her brother speaking now. Her sister spoke, and this is one of her brothers speaking. And Sarah's statement, you know, was very, to me, very good, very touching. But the most heartbreaking portion of that one was when it was directed to her sister. You know, Sarah especially told her sister that she loved her, that she was sorry. I can't say it verbatim, but she hoped Alissa knew how hard she tried. And then she said, "You were the best sister." That's heartbreaking. That is so heartbreaking, you know. And again, for those that don't know, Michael, the one that was a prime suspect, and told them, "Hey, on my deathbed, I may give you a confession," the whole thing. Well, you may not get that lucky, mister, but think what he's doing to his own daughter. My God. You know, let's continue. Her brother speaking now.
Thank all of you who have provided support to our sister Sarah during this time. We were and continue to be grateful that she was not alone during these difficult times. Our family was raised in an environment of lies, alternate realities, and controlling behavioral mechanisms. This upbringing made us easier to be dominated, easier to be manipulated, and served to isolate us from everything but what we were raised to believe as the one source of truth, even if that truth separated us siblings from each other. The resulting personalities from such an upbringing varied from sibling to sibling, but the one shared result is that we all are distrustful and believe that the words said aloud may not match the true intentions of the individual saying them. This upbringing shattered our family group. It is our hope that one of the positive things that can come from this travesty of justice is that we can pick up the pieces of our family and start the difficult process of rebuilding what we can. Please allow us the space for this journey and help us by understanding that if we are not reaching out to you, the media, take the hint and leave us be when we need that privacy. Our family has a long walk ahead of us, but in my heart, I hope that Alissa's spirit greets us at the end with that room-warming smile of hers, sarcastically asking, "What took you idiots so long?"
More to come. Thank you for everything. I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.
Oh, very chilling. Very chilling. Very chilling. You know, Sarah also made it clear that the acquittal was not the end of her fight. There's more to come. And she pledged to finish telling her sister's story, to finish telling Alissa's story. And that, again, is the Voices of Justice podcast. ABC did a lot of work on this case, and ABC 15, I believe, and they reported Sarah, her sister, as saying families in situations like this cannot simply stop fighting. And that's the truth. You just don't give up. You just don't go on. You never go on with no answers. Exactly. I agree. Well, and our children need to be protected. Again, Michael was the stepfather to Alissa, Sarah's real father, but the stepfather was legally acquitted. The judge did not make a factual finding about what happened to Alissa. There was no body, no evidence, no physical evidence. The ruling was that the prosecution did not present sufficient evidence that the court could reasonably say that Michael caused Alicia's death. And Michael has consistently said he denied killing her. And we also got, Sarah's been on court TV. She's been all around. You know, she is doing everything that she can to find answers. And listen, I don't think she'll ever sleep until she does. And then she may not sleep. I don't think that's the right word, but she needs closure. I'm hoping that somebody will say something, you know. I'm telling you to put that baggage down. Put it down. Please set it down. Stop traveling that road. Put them bags down. Them bags have got to be heavy now. They got to be heavy now. Come forward, whoever you are. Alissa's official missing persons case, it's still with Phoenix Police Department. 25 years is long enough. Too long. She deserved to be found. She still deserves to be found. Her family deserves answers. I have her poster up here. Y'all can share her poster. It said she was 5'4". I mean, and you can tell that. Listen to her. Listen to how they describe her. She was 5'4". She weighed approximately 130 pounds at the time. She's white. She has brown eyes, brown hair. She has a scar on her chin. She had a fractured nose. She had pierced ears. As far as jewelry at the time, she had a ring on. It was a diamond heart, you know, a gold chain with a topaz stone. And yes, it says her dental records are available. So they have made her sister and them. Yeah, I don't know, Sam. I don't know. Her sister has made every effort to get it out on the missing flyers exactly what she looked like when she went missing, what she had on in case they find her, made her dental records available. She was last seen May 17th, 2001, Phoenix, Arizona. So somebody may possibly know something. It's time to come forward. If you know something, say something. Contact them, 802-262-6147. They even have her case number on there is 200-1109 223-340-000. You know, it's unbelievable. Let me see what else I got here. I think I have something else I wanted to. Let's get that off of there before I get it mixed up. I think there was one more thing I want to show y'all. This might be it. Let's see. Oh, I think this was it. This is their newsletter from the Attorney General. Okay. Missing person, Alissa Marie Turney, missing 5/17/2001, sex female. Here it is. Date of birth 4/3/1984. Hold on a minute. Let me see something. Hold on. Yeah, I was just making sure y'all could see that. 5'4", eyes brown, weight 130 pounds, hair brown. It was talking about her scars on her chin. She had a fractured nose, ears pierced. I don't know, Sam. That's a good question. How did she get her nose fractured? I don't know. It may be out there somewhere. They have her dental records available. She was last seen May 17th, 2001, Phoenix, Arizona, and may have possibly traveled to California. The photo on the left is age progressed to 19 years old. And the progression was made by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is the police department, Phoenix, Arizona Police Department. Their number 602-262-61-4000. There's the case number right there. And so this is just where you can go. Unbelievable. And then, of course, they have all their other missing children's and bulletins and things like that. I will leave that up. So underage kids missing. They said, well, nothing more than, yeah, and this needs to be changed. I'm feeling more and more like you can just say, oh, my kid ran away. Oh, okay. Well, let's just write it up. Let's write up a report and, maybe get a few thousand people to look for 7 or 8 days and let's call it quits and go on about our life. No, honey. These kids are not throwaways. I don't care if they're runaways. I don't care if they're kidnapped. I don't care what happened. Do your due diligence. Right? Where is Alissa Marie Turney? I'm just going to say my disclaimer again. This live stream is for commentary, discussion, education, awareness, and informative purposes. My opinions expressed here are my opinions. Everybody else's opinions are their opinions. We are all entitled to them. Everything here is to be taken with a grain of salt unless it is fact by the police department or what's been put out there by her family. Everyone is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law, but this man, there's no double jeopardy. None. All the videos that I played today, we have put up fair use. Copyright disclaimer 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use criticism. And I'm just here to tell you that awareness, and I play these as fact. None of those videos belong to me. They either belong to ABC, they belong to her sister, Justice Podcast, Justice for Truth Podcast. But over here, we want truth, facts, and a little bit of smiley. That's why you're here in Smiley Stories world. I hope y'all will watch the Netflix story I'm going to this afternoon. I hope you will pass out her flyer. I hope somebody sees this and comes forward. If you know something, say something. She deserves to be found, and her family deserves closure. Facebook has a post from 4 days ago. Let me see real quick before I go. Let me see. Hold on. Who is that? Let's see. Alissa Turney, a 17-year-old high school student, disappeared on May 17, 2001 after being picked up early from school by her stepfather, Michael Turney, for a lunch outing. As of 2026, Alicia's body has not been found, and her case remains a mystery. August 2020, Michael Turney was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, but the charges were dismissed in July 2023. Due to lack of substantial physical evidence, despite his acquittal, Alissa's family, particularly her sister, Sarah Turney, continue to seek answers and closure. Sarah has been actively advocating for her sister's case through her podcast, Voices for Justice, and has organized search efforts, including a large-scale search planned for winter of 2026. So they have a search coming up this winter. Keep an eye on that, folks. The search will utilize volunteers, ground-penetrating radar, teams of dogs, and drones. If you have any information about Alissa and her disappearance, you can contact the Phoenix Police Department. This must be her sister, Sarah, on Facebook. I'm going to start this. Just a second. Let's see. Sarah on Facebook. Hold on. Let me get my thingamadoogie down just a minute. Let me go back to Facebook. Let me see what she says. I guess she was answering questions. She's beautiful too.
Hi guys, I just got started. I'm just like sending this out everywhere. I think, never gone live on Facebook before.
This is her sister on Facebook.
But I wanted to hop on here and answer questions about Alyssa's case. There are so many new people on that page. It's unreal. So I just wanted to hop on here and answer questions if you guys have.
I guess she's got a question and answer session.
Bear with me as I send out these links to make sure people know that I am live.
Hold on, let's see how. I'm gonna put this in our chat. Hold on, too. Hold on a minute.
I swear I'm so bad with Facebook, you guys. Yeah, if you guys have any questions.
Hold on just a second. I'm sorry, hold on just a second. Put this in our.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions.
I'm sorry, hold on just a second. All right, there's the link to the YouTube. Let me do that. Let me put it on my other screen. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. I know I'm echoing. Hold on. All right, I put it on there twice. Let me go back to Facebook. We'll listen to it for just a few minutes.
Comments. I am used to going live on other platforms, but not Facebook, so bear with me. I am learning.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for that. I actually like doing these older cases.
This is like so different than going live on.
All right, let's see. She's still waiting on.
All right, somebody, thank you, Heidi, for commenting. Hey, good to see you here in live. Thank you. Like I said, it's my first time doing it on this platform, so please bear with me. I just wanted to answer questions about Alissa. I'm getting like thousands of questions in these comments that I can't get to, so I hope that this will help. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Kate. Hello, hello. Thank you. Another Melinda. Hello. Amy, hi. You've been so active on those videos. Thank you so much. It really does help push everything out to get more people to see Alyssa's case. So it's so helpful. Hi, Louise.
And her sister, she looks, they look just alike.
Let me know.
They look so much alike.
In the shot. All right. Melinda has a question. Why won't the police help you without him saying where the body is? Is it a money thing? Great question. No, it's not a money thing at all, as far as I know.
Thank you.
The police department has been offered resources that they will not take. I am told again and again that it's not a matter of funding. It's just a matter of them wanting to utilize the resources, basically. And it's hard because we did a search for Alissa in March, and we searched exactly where her detective told us to look. The dogs alerted to a specific area several times. And when we gave everything to police, they said, we're not going to follow up on this. And unfortunately, they don't really tell you why. So I'm working on getting a forensic anthropologist out there to follow up and see what I can do.
No, he can't.
Like at this
Double
point,
jeopardy.
The concern.
That's why I don't know if he did it, why he won't come forward. He has taunted them or taunted Sarah and said he may do a confession on his deathbed, everything. Which is wild.
I'm just gonna try to bring Alissa home. If it's not admitted into a court of law, that's fine.
And Sarah's his real daughter. How can you do her like that? I'm just saying.
Help and like do the proper chain of command for evidence, but they don't seem willing to do that. All right, sorry, I'm going through the questions. Do you think it'll ever be possible that your dad will face charges and or what is needed to make that happen, just a confession? So yeah, I'm told that he can face a variety of charges. It just depends on what they find.
Just not murder. Just not murder.
Living over state lines, if he, moved her out of the country, there's a variety of charges he can still catch. He just can't get, second-degree murder again.
And in my opinion, that's why he won't come forward, because he can still get charged.
I have my good days and my bad days. I think
Even if it's something little.
Bad days. I spent a lot of time just like recouping and answering questions, and it gets hard for sure. But I've also told Alyssa's story so many times in so many interviews that you kind of become a little numb to it when you're answering these questions. And for me, like, I'd rather.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know.
And talk about
well, they got to find a body first.
That's going to lead us to Alissa. So, and a lot of families are like that. I'm not alone. I think most families find it harmful to have to talk about these things again and again and again, but you do it because there's a greater cause. Sorry, I am trying to go through these comments, and I am new to Facebook Live, so just bear with me. There was mention at some point the possibility of searching the land where Mike's family home was. Did that ever happen? That has not happened. So my uncle said that he would be curious to look at an old family property up north. That's just my dad's brother.
It was. I think that's what he originally went to
I've not been
jail
able to make that
for.
happen yet. I can tell
They started
you that
looking
the
into
police
him.
did go up there and talk to the owners, but they did not search the property. Alissa was the one that I coordinated in March. The police have never searched for Alissa. The dog's alerted in Desert Center, California. Alissa is asking, has she been declared legally deceased? Yes, she has. The police did that many years ago.
Okay, so they did. Okay.
How is he not in jail? Great question.
So they declared her legally deceased many years ago, she said. So they did declare her deceased. Wow.
And he keeps going to jail and getting out. I don't know how. This is a lifelong criminal, and he's a very dangerous man. And when he hurts somebody else, that's going to be on the hands of the police. Do you ever think your dad will tell you the truth on his deathbed? No. No, I think that he's a very evil and cruel man who will never give me or any of his children that kindness. I think he cares about himself and preserving his ego more than any of his children, unfortunately.
He'll face the devil. Don't worry, honey.
Mia, does your dad still check in on the old house that he stopped renting? I have no idea. He lives I don't want to dox him, right? He lives many, many miles away from that house. I'm still relatively close by. I moved just a few miles down the street. He's a few cities away at this point.
Hold on a minute. That was a good question, though, because a lot of times if you do something like that, so say like she was in the yard, these kids were younger. This is her younger sister. They will go and they will go back to visit, or they'll put them in a spot, even if it's the roadside or backside or wherever, where they can pass by if they're not living there and see. You understand what I mean? The crime scene or the person that they've actually buried. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. That happens. That is true. So again, she's saying she don't know because he lives far away. I would be interested to know if he does. I'd be willing to bet he still has something of hers. I'm just saying.
So as far as I know, he doesn't, but I also don't track my father, so I'm not sure. What about a lie detector test, asks Sierra. I've asked, the police have asked, he has been asked several times to do a lie detector, and he refuses every single time. This is a man who's never even sat down with the police to answer questions about his missing daughter. So trying to get him to do a lie detector test is really, really hard. He said that he still has those same set of conditions that he gave over a decade ago, which were it needed to be on live TV with Canadian operators. And then he wanted to also polygraph his whole family, the judge in his bomb case, John Walsh from the National Center for
Oh my
Missing and
God.
Exploited Children, all the detectives, the judge in his bomb case. His list of demands are ridiculous. Jessica says, I hope you get justice for Alissa. Well, thank you. Luis asks, so your family still speaks to your dad? No. No, there's only one of his children. His oldest son still speaks to him. He feels an obligation to care for our father in his old age. None of the rest of the children feel that way. Nobody else speaks to him. And I've been no contact for about 15 years outside of asking him a handful of times about Alyssa's case. You know, it
Wonder if he would tell the other son that took care of him.
Confront him about it, and it's never a pleasant meeting.
I say fend for
But
yourself.
it's these things, you know, he's getting older, and there are questions that I at least want to ask before he passes. So that's really the only time that I break that no contact. Will there be any new searches? Yes, absolutely. Deanna asks, you've dedicated your life to giving a voice to others who don't have one. What do you do for yourself? You deserve happiness. Well, thank you. I do take time for myself a lot more now than I used to. You know, it mostly looks like hanging out with my dogs and like very peaceful activities. I feel like after such a traumatic childhood and all the trauma, really having to like investigate my sister's case on my own, I just seek peace. I just like to do peaceful things. So like I like to go to northern Arizona and camp with my dogs. I enjoy like gardening, and grandma activities are my favorite things. Does your dad still contact you? No. No, he does not, which is so funny because like, you know, I've been posting this preliminary conversation I had with him to even set up an interview for the last documentary we did. And he's like, can I get a hug? Which is so manipulative and gross, because no, he doesn't reach out to me. He doesn't try to contact me. He never tried to have a relationship with me after I
agree.
accused him of doing this and confronted him, which is understandable. I call him out on his BS nonstop, and I have no level of being polite with him anymore. So like, I get it. I'm unpleasant for him to be around, and that's by design. Like I can't sit there and, you know, be nice and respectful to a man with his background who's done what he's done. Even if he didn't harm Alissa, it would still be that way because he's just a terrible person who's hurt so many people. Why can't the police do a lie detector test? They can't force him to. It's the same reason why
You can't force anybody to do a lie detector test.
They just simply cannot force him to do so.
And they don't hold up in court anyway. But it says a lot that he won't take one, and that he has all these demands, in my opinion.
Amber, you have been such a long-term supporter for so long. Of course you are here. Thank you. Yeah, Kayla says lie detector tests are pseudoscience, so that wouldn't help anyway. I agree. I'm not a big believer in polygraph tests. I think that there are certain value to it, but there's a big reason why they're not accepted in court. Now, they're essentially junk science. Crystal, you said that your daughter was just murdered June 21st and you're fighting for justice. I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. Social media gets really congested, but if you go to my website,
Sharon, that was weird.
That's like the best way to get in contact with me.
And she felt uncomfortable about that.
Claire asks, who reported Alissa missing? Was it him? Yes, he did report Alissa missing that night. So essentially it was like, I think 10 something at night, maybe close to 11. He called the police and said, my rebellious teenage daughter who does drugs ran away to her aunt's house in California. My father is former law enforcement, so I believe fully that he reported her in such a way to elicit no response.
Nice.
Which is exactly what happened, right? That's a huge reason why the police didn't look into her case for like 8 years.
Wow. He knew exactly what to say, how to say it. And that was just a crazy response anyway.
Here, please, if you have questions, I love answering them. It's a lot easier to do this and answer a ton of questions in a live versus trying to get.
Think about it though. In my opinion, he had to report her,
viral on here, and I'm so
or then he'd look crazy. Back then, I mean, you know,
they want to get as many people as possible.
Back then, let me stop this. Back then, we didn't.
Would be necessary to.
Back then, we didn't have people that went 30 days without reporting their kids missing and stuff. you know, people got on it, but he knew what to do, in my opinion. And he knew exactly, she's right, he knew exactly what to say and how to do it. Just if he is guilty, and it sure points that way, you know, it points that way. Yeah, no parents' narratives being believed. Right, exactly. Exactly.
Mike, so he would no longer have the right to refuse to be interrogated. He can't. It's the Fifth Amendment. It's your constitutional right to remain silent. So there's nothing we can do, and it's hard, right? Because I want him so badly to answer these questions about Alissa, but also the Fifth Amendment is so incredibly important. So it's hard. I wish he would answer questions, but he won't. He never will. Did your dad separate Alyssa's bio dad out of her life? No. Alyssa's biological father signed over custody of Alissa when she was about 3. So he was really just like a non-thing. He was just like never in her life. And Alissa never really talked about him.
And this guy, Michael, he adopted Alissa.
I have been a speaker there so many times. I went for many, many years. And I haven't gone in quite a few now. There are some fundamental issues with CrimeCon that I just can't get over. You know, they're not always so fantastic to families. A lot of their practices are pretty bad. You know, the last one I went to, there was a major incident where the police report was filed, the family was harassed, and CrimeCon wasn't really on the side of the family. And for an event and a corporation making millions and millions and millions of dollars off of these family stories, to not have their back when they're harassed at their event is unacceptable to me. So unless CrimeCon does a major overhaul of their ethics, I probably won't go again. Sorry, you guys I'm being flooded with comments now, which is fantastic. Thank you. I'm just trying to get to them all. What was Mike's job in law enforcement and how long and why did he leave? So my father was a deputy sheriff for Maricopa County back in the 1970s, decades before, well, a decade or so before I was born. And essentially he was just a deputy, right? Which is like a cop in the county terms, if you will. He was only there for about 4 years, and he ended up resigning after essentially helping his brother cover up an attempted homicide.
Oh my God.
This is all documented in Alyssa's police file, which is crazy because
he resigned. They gave him the opportunity to resign. What? Her dad was a cop. Did y'all hear that? And he resigned ultimately because he tried to help his own brother cover up a homicide. That's what she just said. Oh my word.
Heard all these stories growing up, and then reading the police officially investigating it was wild. But basically, this is what happened. My uncle called my dad over. My dad got the kids out of the house, and then my uncle shot his wife, attempted to kill her. The police were called. My dad, as a deputy sheriff, walked into the scene, pocketed some shell casings, and essentially there were no charges. Back in the 70s, there weren't really the same laws as there are today with domestic violence. Essentially, you know, because she didn't want to press charges because she was so terrified of my dad and my uncle, nothing happened. She just said, nope, I don't want to press charges. They went to her and said, if you try to prosecute me or go any further with this, we're going to take away the kids. And this is her own account. This is what she has said in interviews. So she just didn't. She didn't press any charges. So literally nothing happened. But they did discover, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office discovered what my dad did at the scene. And they essentially said, you can resign or we're going to fire you. So he resigned from the sheriff's office after tampering with an attempted homicide scene.
Wow.
Absolutely insane. And that's the thing, you guys. Like, that's why, like, when I get it, when you see a video on this page and you're like, this doesn't tell the whole story, it's like, because I can't. There's no way for me to put the entire story into every single post on this page. It's just impossible. That's why my podcast is like 35 episodes long or something insane. Because I go over all of it, and there's so much.
See, and that's why y'all need to go over her podcast.
Exactly. Have I ever tried contacting a medium? Yes, I'm totally open to those things, 1,000%. I've gone to psychics and mediums, everything in between, and I have had some like lackluster results and some downright like traumatizing results. I went to one, and she later called me. It was like midnight, and told me that I needed to come out there to the desert right now because she and 2 men were digging for my sister.
Oh my God.
Which, like, it's not good to just go rogue. So I was like, we need to tell the police.
Yeah.
Like, we have to have somebody out there. Like,
I ain't going to no desert in the middle of the night,
digging
honey.
for bodies in the desert.
That could have been set up with your daddy.
So there's been some very, very traumatizing experiences. If you guys followed me on
I don't know, Sandwich.
you know that there was this whole saga with this guy called the Ghost Whisperer, who said that he was speaking to Alyssa's spirit, and that Alyssa was saying horrible things.
It's all in Alicia's files,
He
though.
also, in the middle of the night, tried to get me to go out to Tempe Town Lake, saying that Alyssa told him to go there, and I needed to go dig with him in the middle of the night, which, like, strange man, middle of the night, go out by myself. You don't want the police involved. It's not a good scenario.
Mm-mm.
So, unfortunately, I think that there are a lot of bad people in that space, but I'm also very open to it. I believe that there are people who are gifted, so it's a lot. It's really hard. That guy was nuts. So yes, Amber, you remember. And I actually, I did like a criminal background check on him because he freaked me out so bad. And he had a lot of like DV charges and really scary things. So I'm really glad I didn't go meet him in the middle of the night, which I got a lot of flack for. People were like, if you really cared about your sister, you'd go out there right now with him. And I'm like, I care about my sister deeply. I don't want to perish on the side of the road because of this gentleman. Who wrote the note? That's a great question.
That's what I want to know.
So when Alyssa went missing, I found a note in her room, and that was analyzed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And they deemed that it was her handwriting, and I agree. It looks like her handwriting to me. But they said something that I think is so interesting, that they believe it was written at 2 different times, which I think lines up perfectly. Because if you read that note, Alyssa's referencing things that happened sometime before she, went missing. So I do have a video explaining this, but my theory is basically that my dad found that note sometime before he reported her missing, and later made her add to it before leaving it there as evidence of her running away. So no, I can't sue him. I did ask a lawyer about that, and essentially where I am, you have to be a parent, spouse, or child of the person that you want to bring a wrongful death case against. And as Alyssa's sister, I am none of those things, unfortunately. Do you think this happened before her 18th birthday due to control issues? Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Alyssa had just turned 17. And I think my dad specifically chose the last day of school because nobody would be looking for her. You know what I mean?
Right. Kind of like with Lori Page. Think about that.
Ask questions, but
he just
a kid who doesn't come back after the summer is like a totally different story. Maybe she wanted to go before, then actually went through with it. I mean, it's a possibility. And that's what I believed for a really long time. I used to write like essays in college. I was an English major, so I used to write a ton of essays in college about how I thought Alyssa was just, on a beach sipping a margarita somewhere, and she'd be back, and she had this fantastic life. And unfortunately, the facts of her case just don't lean towards that. Her social security number has never been used. She didn't take any money with her. She didn't take any clothes with her. I mean, if she started a brand new life, she did it with nothing and managed to evade police very, very skillfully. Have you ever went back to the rocks where you posted that most recent video? So no, I actually just posted on Reddit yesterday because I'm trying to figure out where that place is. Unfortunately, like when our dad would take us camping, I just remember we'd drive up the freeway, pull off into the desert somewhere and go camping. It wasn't like we were going to Yellowstone National Park where I could see signs and remember things. He was always just taking us to like random patches of desert that maybe had signs that I missed, but it was nothing big like you might expect in like a national park. So I'm working on it. Why take her out early? More time for what? So great question. If you guys don't know, my father took Alissa out of school early on the day that she went missing. He told nobody. I didn't find out until the police told me about 7 years later, and neither did any of my family. In fact, there's like this infamous interview with my oldest brother where he starts freaking out because he's like, what do you mean he took her out of school early? Why would he take her out of school early? Because he's finding this out in the moment. So why he took Alissa out of school early is still a mystery. He's told many conflicting stories about why. He said it was the last day of school. They weren't doing anything anyway. That Alissa asked him specifically to pick him up because she was trying to avoid her boyfriend, even though her boyfriend's the last one she spoke to before leaving campus, or second to last. I have my timeline over here to reference. But essentially, before Alissa left school, she popped her head into her boyfriend's shop class and said, my dad's picking me up early. I'll see you tonight. Because they had plans to go to graduation and a graduation party.
Sad. She couldn't even graduate. What an...
Alissa never missed school. Like, Alissa really liked being at school because she liked being away from home. So it was very strange. Sorry, I'm trying to go through questions. Was there any proof she asked to be picked up early? No.
And why didn't he take anybody else out
to kill you now.
for lunch or whatever?
Yeah, I do live in that fear every single day. You know, my dad knows where I live. I've lived in my same home for a very long time. For even when I believed that he was innocent, I have lived here. So he knows exactly where I am. I do believe he's come to my house before. And I do have measures in place. I don't want to give it all away because he also watches everything I do. But I'm not going to live in fear, and I'm not going to stop advocating for a missing child who was abused for her entire life, who's also my sister, because he wants to be big, bad, and scary. So if he wants to do something, he can do it. She could literally be anywhere. He may not have done that. I mean, it's possible. I will say I was the last person to believe he did this. All of my brothers, the police, the whole world believed he did this before me. My dad was my hero. I didn't realize that most of my childhood foundation was like lies, and most of his stories were lies. I really thought that my dad was this sad man with this tragic story, and I felt this obligation to help him. And then the truth came out that he is a monster and has been harming people for his whole life.
That's very sad.
Has your dad ever acknowledged the contracts he had with Alissa? Yes, he has. And again, everything, like, I've confronted my dad about everything I can
Hold on a minute.
at this point.
I just want to make sure y'all knew that's who we were listening to, and it's over on Facebook. I just want to make sure y'all knew that's who we were listening to. See, that's why. That's why. So hold on, I will get off of this. Hold on a second. I want to put that link down in there, but I want to get off of this and go back. This is about, I'm going to follow her because I need to follow this. Follow. All lives. Yep, I want to make sure I follow her. Let's go down towards the end a little bit. We won't listen to all of it because it's pretty lengthy.
Sad. So sometimes he says like he learned that in a parenting class to create these contracts. Other times he says it was just like a fail-safe for him. He changes his stories all the time. And you can actually see it. You know, he does want to be an influencer or whatever. He says now that he wants to be a political influencer. So nothing about his missing daughter. He wants to talk about politics. But yeah, so he does have some videos where he talks about some of those things. He used to respond to every single video I made, which is really helpful in like understanding his mindset. Thank you, Amber, for answering questions. Yeah, Alissa and I have 4 older brothers. I'm the youngest. Is it possible to search for Alissa without the police's help? Yeah, that's what we did in March. You know, I mean, they did help in like telling us where we should search because that's just custom, right? You know, and it wasn't even me. A part of the search teams, we had former law enforcement, we had former FBI there. So they communicated with the police, you know, where do you think we should look? This is something that like I was kept out of the loop on, which is fine. You know, law enforcement wants to talk to law enforcement. They don't want to talk to me. I'm totally okay with that. So yeah, essentially we did go without the help of the Phoenix Police Department. Everybody who was there was like retired former law enforcement. Is my dad on my page watching your videos? He says so, yeah. You can see it, and I think it's like an intimidation tactic too.
Yes.
I watch everything you do, and it's like, that's fine.
He tries to intimidate her.
Change, man. I'm not the one who's lying. Is it true there's going to be a Netflix documentary about Alissa? Yeah, they announced it late last year. So it's been in production for a while. It is finishing production right now. I have no air date. Do you think the feds are in on it? Not really. But I also didn't think that my dad was guilty. So, you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The prosecutor did a horrible job on the trial prep. Yes, he did, Amber. He was awful. And that's like, I'm developing a new season, a podcast season about Alissa. And I really have to nail in this trial because the events that happened were just ridiculous. I mean, the night before the trial at like 9 p.m. before the trial starts. So there's like 2 to 3 years of like proceedings, right? Where there's like a million hearings about which evidence is going to come in and blah, blah, blah. So I go through all that for years and years and years. And many interviews with, you know, the prosecution and all that. And so it's the night before the big trial starts, right? It's like 9 p.m. and I get a call from my victim's rights attorney. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. Like I'm trying to, you know, get some sleep because I have to go testify in my sister and dad's murder trial tomorrow. And he's like, well, the prosecution has some questions for you if you're available. And I'm like, of course, like whatever they need. I want to make sure they get this right. And the questions were like, hey, like, what time did your dad pick you up from school that day? Which brother has which mom?
Oh my God.
And my heart just sank. Like my heart just sank. They were also asking for like audio tapes and like all this stuff that we could have done months and months and months before. And so I walked into that first day of trial feeling really bad about it. It was just insane to like ask those questions. And a lot of their write-ups too for the court, they got so much wrong. And when I would ask about that, I was like, hey, like, just so you guys know, like, this isn't what happened. They were like, oh, don't worry, we're going to fix that in trial. And then they never did.
Wow.
I think that they were just like completely checked out. The prosecutor has
Thank you, Susie. You have a wonderful day.
Born,
We're about to finish up here anyway. Thank you.
At this point. And I consulted with other, you know, professionals in prosecutors' offices in different states. And they were like, this is going to go one of two ways. Either this guy is like an ace at what he does because he's been there for so long, or he's completely checked out and will not do any work. And I think it was the latter. Does he still have the home videos that he took? No. So when my dad was arrested for the first time in 2008, when they found all the bombs and guns and all that stuff in the house, I had legal power of attorney. He gave everything over to me because I was the only child who helped him. Crazy enough, I was living with him because my college was right around the corner. So I was still living at home. I had just turned 20. He went to prison and everything went to me. So like I became like his legal secretary. I ran the house.
Remember just what she said earlier. She said she was the last of all the kids to even think he did anything. So she was the last one to think he did anything.
The dogs, all this medical stuff, like I did it all, which meant when the police were ready to release evidence, it went to me. So I legally own all the home videos now because the police released them to my custody. So he has nothing and I have everything.
Thank God.
What's the age difference between me and Alissa? D asks. Thank you. Alissa is 4 years older. I was born in 88 and she was born in 84. The amount of people that have failed you in this case is astounding. Yeah, I mean, Alissa has fallen through the cracks of every single system, right? Like just going through the timeline of it is devastating. You know, her mother passed away when Alissa was about 9, I was 4. Shortly after that, our father started dating Alissa's teacher, a mandated reporter. Alissa reported that abuse to her and she didn't believe her, so she didn't report it. And I think that really crushed Alissa because it took her, as far as we know, a few more years to start telling people again. So by the time Alissa's like 13, 14, she starts telling friends, she starts telling family. And that only escalates as she becomes 15, 16, 17. She's telling more people. She's becoming more aggressive with our dad. She's demanding things like, you know, one incident, according to Alissa, where our dad tried to do something horrific with her. She demanded, like, this incident is so sad, you guys. Like, literally, Alissa, my dad parks in the driveway and Alissa runs from the truck and, like, goes to a neighbor's house and begs for help and says, like, my dad's trying to hurt me, like, please call the police, blah, blah, blah. And my dad goes over there and convinces the neighbor that Alyssa's on drugs, which for all we know, like, he could have drugged her. I don't know. But at that point, Alissa demands to go live with our brothers, and he lets her. He lets her, and that's where one of the contracts comes from, too. But while Alyssa's going and living with our brothers for the summer, he's still watching her outside. I remember because I went with him on one of the things. He goes, we're going to go look for Alissa. And, like, this is my childhood. Like, I don't know any different, right? So at this point, I'm, like, I don't know, 10 or 11, sitting there. My dad's, like, in the truck, like, with binoculars watching her. So Alissa had so much control over her and so much surveillance that I think near the end, she just stopped caring and started telling everybody what was happening. And that's when he devised his plan.
Wow.
Sorry, that
Shut her up. They said she had a strong motive in the
no, there's only one
reports.
video that I'm aware of Alissa calling our dad a pervert.
Yeah.
They did search the house. So when Alissa went missing, her dad reported her as a runaway, which means the police didn't do anything. They didn't even come out to the house. They didn't come take a report. They didn't talk to me. They did take DNA a few years later, but
Did you hear that? When he reported her as a runaway, they didn't even come to the house at full. They took a report. They just took a report. They did do DNA years later. I mean, oh my God.
Still never formally questioned until 2008. So 7 years after Alissa goes missing is the first time anybody sits me down and asks me questions about what happened to Alissa that day. Sorry, I forgot the original question. I have the worst memory, you guys. But essentially, nothing happened and nobody really looked for Alissa. Sorry, I forgot your original question. You guys have the worst memory. How can they find her legally deceased if there's no evidence or body? So, I mean, I would argue that there is evidence. But in terms of a body, you don't have to have that. Every state is a little bit different. Some have the same laws, if you will. but each state has kind of guidance for how you can determine somebody to be legally dead. Sometimes it's like a year, sometimes it's, multiple years. It just depends. And I didn't do it. It was the police who did it, so I'm not super familiar with it. Kelly, yes, I do have my A necklace on. I wear it pretty much daily. It's a little beat up, but yeah, I do wear my A for Alissa. How many hours between him picking you up early from school to him reporting her missing? I don't know, because the police interviewed me so long after Alissa went missing that I didn't know that timeline. They asked me, 7 years ago, what time did your dad pick you up? And I was like, after school. They're like, was it light or was it dark out? And I'm like, maybe a bit. You know what I mean? Like, I still don't know. I can tell you it was after school. So essentially, Paradise Valley High School, where Alissa went, and I later went to, starts really early. It's like 6:45 or something, like very, very early, or 7:15. And then the middle school I went to, Explorer Middle School, started at like 9 or 9:30, which means like we just weren't in the same area at the same time. So by the time I wake up to go to school, Alyssa's already at school. So I don't know what's going on. My dad, I can't remember if I took the bus or if my dad drove me that day.
See, I don't get why he didn't pick her up. That's very telling right there to me.
So I'm gone all day at this water park. I have no idea what's going on. When the buses came to the school to drop us off, my dad wasn't there, which wasn't abnormal. Like, he just like wasn't a good dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes he just like wasn't there to pick me up. So I walked home with my friends who lived down the street. I did this all the time. I regularly walked to their house and like wait for my dad to, pick me up or be a parent or whatever. So I walked to their house, and I remember, because we were smoking cigarettes. I'm in 7th grade, so obviously I'm not supposed to do this. And it was like one of my only rules. I was allowed to do basically anything, but like smoking cigarettes was something that my dad was like super crazy about. So I remember that I knew he was going to pick me up. And we sprayed each other down with perfume, and tell your dad we had a perfume fight. I'm 12. This is my excuse. So when I'm getting into his truck, the reason I'm telling you this is because all I can think about is I'm in so much trouble. Like, I'm, he is going to ground me. I'm going to be in trouble. But I get into his truck and he says, your sister's not answering her phone. Try to call her. And he hands me his cell phone. At this point, 2001, I don't have my own cell phone. I actually share a cell phone with my dad, like if I go out, but I don't have one. Alissa has one, he has one. So he hands me his phone and says, call Alissa. Call her a few times, there's no answer. We get to the house, and I don't know who enters the house first, but he has me, well, not has me, right? I enter her room first. It's a very small house. So I go into her room. To the right is her bed, to the left is her dresser. And the little like entryway in between, you can see what looks like the contents of her backpack spilled out on the floor. It's like papers and that type of stuff. That's all I can remember.
Spilled out? Is that what she said?
Which is odd, because Alissa was very, very neat, a very, very neat person. So obviously something had happened there. And then on the dresser is the note and apparently her cell phone. I really just remember the note. But so I don't really know what time my dad picked me up, unfortunately. It could have been anywhere from like 4:30 to 7 or 8.
Yeah, it was still at the house.
And then
she left her house. She also had a car. She had $1,800.
Sorry, everything is like a really long story. I apologize. I try to keep it brief. Her cell phone, yeah, her cell phone was left behind. So that's the thing, is like, her cell phone was still there. All her money was still there. All her like favorite possessions were still there. My dad says that a few items were missing, but nothing really that I remember, because I also, as a little sister, kept, tabs on her clothes, and I wanted to borrow them and wear them, and I loved them, blah, blah, blah. And pretty much everything was still there when she was gone, because I eventually like took them. You know what I mean? I feel like that summer, I would like wear one of Alissa's shirts, almost like daring her to come back and scream at me. You know what I mean?
Oh, bless her heart.
Did they ever question your friend or their parents at the house you were at? So yes, they did speak with my friends. I think by that time their father had unfortunately passed. Because again, they're not talking to anybody until like 7 years after the fact. So they did speak to those friends. My dog's back there. But I don't think they could give a more clear timeline. Again, it's like, what time did your parent pick you up from school 7 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, who's going to be thinking all that? They are a day late and a dollar short. They should have did all that at the beginning.
I don't know what's happening in the comments, you guys. Please don't fight.
So anyway, let me just stop it there, because this is a very lengthy question and answer with her over on Facebook. And I don't question and answer. Hold on, I always forget to turn it down. And I'm going to put it back in here again. I don't want to take away from all of her Facebook stuff. But also, too, she has the podcast, and she's put all of it on her podcast. And I encourage y'all to go look at it, study it. Oh, no problem, Sandwich. And, I'm going to do a little more research on it, too, and stuff. But this right here is the, her flyer needs to be put out. Maybe somebody will remember something. I don't think so either, Sharon, in my opinion. And it's kind of weird to me. Maybe that her sister would answer that. Maybe they didn't allow them to drive cars at school back then. But I don't know, because I remember, they in certain areas, I don't know. I can't say certain states are different. Kids drove cars back then. One, my question is, why did she not drive her car to school that day? Two, why did he pick her up early from school? I mean, was there something going on from, was she not allowed to have her car? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, I just encourage anyone to come forward and give Sarah and her brothers closure. And maybe there could be other charges. Who knows? But the closure needs to come. In my opinion, of course. Everyone deserves answers. Everyone deserves to be found. And even if she was a runaway, just like I said, they're not throwaways. They're somebody's child. Even though her mom was dead, she's still her mom's child. Listen, 602-534-2121. That's the Phoenix Police Department phone number. If anybody has any information on Alissa Marie Turney, please turn it in. Nothing's too small. I'm going to go ahead and play us out. Y'all have a great day. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. See you on these YouTube streets. Bye.
She was born and bred in Nashville, but she walks the beaches down in Florida sand. A mother and wife, a daughter, a sister, trying hard to do the best she can. She found her voice with a heavy heart, looking for purpose with trembling hands. And giving this all a new start, moving ahead, speaking for ones who came. And she says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones unheard, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. Her mama fought cancer answer while she was searching for stories that needed a gentle voice. We saw summer's name and felt the heart ache and tried to bring light where there was no choice. And when she heard of Sebastian, her sadness rose. She prays for truth through the noise. She'll follow wherever the story goes, seeking their dignity, a child's joy. She says, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones on her, 'cause she's got a caring heart that won't be turned. She said, I am who I am, I'll stand my ground. Even when the nights get long and rough, you'll hear my sound. She'll be speaking for the ones of her. She's got a caring heart that won't be turned.